Hello and welcome to Phantomology, where phantoms collide. I'm Paul, and we have a very special guest with us. In fact,
Right.
one could probably call her Animation Friday's biggest fan because she's been there. How long have you been watching Animation Friday now?
I'm not
It's
probably 3-4 months, maybe.
and you've been there just about every episode pretty consistently and adding to the chat some pretty important stuff to the conversation. So I thought, you know what, let's just have you on here with us.
Thank you.
So real quick before we get into this is not your first time appearing on the channel, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, before we get into tonight's discussion, would you like to just real quick refresh everyone as to who you are? And I know you have a channel and sort of what your channel's about.
So I do mostly Star Wars or Disney stuff. I like reactive stuff. Or right now I'm rewatching the Clone Wars. Or I do games. I just do anything, I guess.
Okay. That's kind of how we are here too.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why we're now called Fandomology instead of just the Star Wars guys. It's more liberating that way. All right. So it's the two of us. Two more people hopefully should be joining us soon. But we're here tonight to talk about the final 4 episodes of the Clone Wars Season 4, which focus on the fall of the Night Sisters, but the return of Darth Maul. So taken together as one whole story, these 4 episodes, what do you think about them, and how does this rank among the other Clone Wars stories to you?
For me, I really do like this episode because it shows a different side of Ventress. We've seen her, you could say, ruthless, like whatever, any bad stuff. But then here we kind of see her more vulnerable in her situation. And we see she was trying to find a family, trying to find a home, but then something bad happened. But after that, she goes out in the galaxy because Mother Towson says she should go out in the galaxy. So she did, and she find herself during a mission with Boba Fett and other bounty hunters. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really good. I like that.
Yeah, that was definitely something too. Definitely something that I kind of knew was there because, with the exception of the first episode, these 3 episodes I had seen before, but really wasn't aware of how they connected to each other. But yeah, seeing that more, I would say, human side of
Yeah.
Ventress was definitely a welcome addition, not just to the story, but to her character. So, like I said, we have 4 episodes to go over. Those episodes are called Massacre, Bounty, Brothers, and Revenge. So, starting off, of course, with Massacre, this takes place a few weeks. I'm gonna I'm gonna guess a few weeks after what happened with when Asajj took Savage Opress to go and killed Count Dooku, and then Savage turns on both of them, and he escapes, leaving Ventress to fight him one-on-one, and she escapes. This takes place after that, where Ventress has returned to Dathomir, and she doesn't know that Savage has already been there, has already talked to Mother Towson to go and find, quote, his long-lost
Yeah.
brother. I wonder who that's going to be. But she's there, and she's, of course, upset that Savage Opress betrayed her. And she talks about this with Mother Towson, and Mother Towson's like, listen, it's time for you to put away your old Sith life. And it's time for you now to become one of us, become a Night Sister. Meanwhile, Dooku and Grievous are meeting inside inside his castle on Sereno, and Dooku decides it's time to take revenge on Ventress and Mother Talzin for attempting to assassinate me. And so he has Grievous lead an enormous strike force of battle droids to Dathomir. And right as they're landing, Ventress is going through the ceremony to become a Night Sister. Mother Towson's leading it. It involves her basically dunking herself in this greenish liquid and then allowing herself to be raised up by Mother Towson and the Night Sister magic. And I'm not 100% sure what it does. Maybe it like marks her or something, or makes her stronger.
Baptist in a way, like maybe.
Yeah, they call it a baptism, which I'm not a big fan of them using that word, admittedly. But it basically it's a rite of passage. You know, you're now a Night Sister. Your old life is over. We are your new life now. However, their celebration gets interrupted by Grievous's droids attacking. So, up to this point in the episode so far, Alice, what do you think about all of this? From Asajj becoming a Night Sister to Dooku deciding, you know what, I'm gonna finally get my revenge.
For me, I like the fact that Mother Towson before we kind of saw her as like, oh, but like this episode, she kind of had like great points towards Ventress. Like she was saying, like it's okay that something bad like happened in the past. You can move on and stuff. But she has like really good advice, and there's a celebration. And when Dooku was like, I'm gonna get revenge, I was like, oh no. Because this, I do remember in the book it said like Dooku betrayed her or something like that to get Maul. So I was like, yeah, this is not a good idea. But,
yeah.
So, you know, when I saw her like do the magic, I was like, oh no.
By the way, I forgot to mention this at the very beginning of the stream. I am still dealing with what's left of the flu. I have a bit of a lingering cough. So if you see me turn my camera off and mute for like a second, I just have to cough. I will do my best to mute myself. That way y'all ain't got to hear it, but it might slip.
It's okay.
All right. So anyways, though, Grievous sends out his droids and real quick, hello to Leia Rose, and she says Dathomir Night Sisters cannot be trusted. She is 100% correct. Oh, I also want to mention one other thing too. This particular episode also has serious implications for the game Jedi Fallen Order.
I'm replaying that one.
Oh, you're replaying it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm at that part where Cal meets Mira and stuff. Mira, I don't know how to pronounce her name correctly.
Marin?
Yeah, Marin.
So you're at that part now?
Yeah.
That's like the best part of the game. Yeah. And my friend Ian, the headless guitarist, is here. I sent you the link, man. Please come in here. So anyways, Grievous sends out his droids, and this is a really weird situation because we're used to seeing the battle droids as just these incompetent pieces of scrap metal that are easy for the clones to take down. But here, against the Night Sisters and their primitive technology, by the way, Ian, check Discord. Against the Night Sisters and their primitive technology, they are quite lethal. And I think they did that on purpose to remind them that, yeah, the clones did regularly beat them, but only the clones could beat them. Any other army would have trouble, especially like the Night Sisters, for example, right? By the way, hello to the Matt Cave, who says, Alice on the show, so awesome. Yes, it is. So, not only... By the way, Matt Cave also says, sorry I couldn't make it tonight, out with the missus. That's all right, man. Thank you for telling me. Not only are the battle droids superior to the Night Sisters in firepower, the Night Sisters are also vastly outnumbered. So, Mother Towson... I'm in my PJs. You seriously want me in... Hey, I'm in my pajamas too, man. In fact, 90% of the time that I stream, I'm in my pajamas, okay? But anyways, the Night Sisters are also outnumbered. So what does Mother Towson do but go into this secret area of their most inner sanctum, and she talks to, and you're gonna have to remind me the name here. She talked the old lady.
I can't look it up. Oh, something? I forgot how to pronounce her name.
Here, I'll look it up too. By the way, hello to Apollome's Minion. Thanks for joining. I'm looking it up too, by the way. Where is it? Old Daka. That's what it is. Okay. Basically, she is someone that's even older than Mother Towson. And she is basically the one that she's like their medicine woman almost. If thinking of the Night Sisters as a Native American tribe, if Mother Towson was like the chief, Old Daka is like the medicine man almost. And she asks Old Daka to create a spell that will revive the dead of the Night Sisters to basically create that army. So basically they're going to have an army of zombies. And funny thing, I went into this episode having already played all the way through Jedi Fallen Order multiple times. I know that, spoiler alert, in a certain scene, this same exact thing happens. But I thought that was original to just that game. I didn't realize it had already happened here. So to see it pop up in this episode in pretty much the same way that the game plays it out was really cool to see. Oh, wait, did I just spoil that for you for the game?
No. I said I replayed it. It's like my third time.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Thank God.
Yeah, I watch all, because how I watch is, I watch like all of it in chronological, except for I already watched the movies. So after that, I played the game, so.
Okay. Fair enough. Leia Rose says, oh, yeah, that is true. That is true. So anyways, with this huge army of Night Sister zombies, the tide begins to turn in favor of the Night Sisters, and they manage to take down a lot of the Grievous's forces, including this one tank that shoots these shells that fly up in an arc, and then when they land, it just creates this huge big fireball that wipes out everything. I believe they call it the defoliator. Yeah, and they managed to take that down by taking over another of their tanks and shooting at it, which was really cool. Until finally it comes down to Ventress versus Grievous. And Ventress provokes Grievous into a one-on-one showdown. And
Obi-Wan and Grievous later on.
Yeah. And you have to consider that these two used to work pretty much side by side to each other. In fact, we see them working directly side by side to each other way back in the very beginning of season 3, when the two of them are going after, I forget whatever it is that they're going after in Camino. And you know that when they were working together, there had to have been almost like a sibling rivalry there. Yeah. Who can gain Dooku's favor the best? And now here they are actually duking it out. So what did you think of all of this?
I mean, it was really cool that we got to see one-on-one, because before that, like you said, like there was like this rivalry thing going on, like who can do better. But this one we got to actually see it. But then Grievous was like, I'm gonna lose. So you basically told him to like shoot everyone. I was like,
yeah. Basically, he cheats to win. So yeah, basically, the fighting begins again between the two armies. But what no one on Dathomir realizes is that while old Daka is making that spell to resurrect the dead Night Sisters, Mother Towson is making another spell, basically using like voodoo magic to oh my goodness. Hello, it's Phil McCracken, who is banned and in exile. I'm saddened, but in time, I'll be all right. Hashtag justice for Phil. Enjoy your night. Hashtag the exile. Phil, you're not banned here. I don't know where you're banned at, but you're not banned here. And by the way, hello, Ian.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool.
Can we hear your guitar?
That's a good question.
Just a dry tone.
Just dry. Ugh, boring. Okay.
All right. But anyways, though, we're talking about the first of the 4 episodes tonight, the one called Massacre.
Mhm.
And we're at the part where Ventress and Grievous are facing each other one-on-one, and Grievous basically cheats to win by getting one of his droids to shoot at Ventress.
Which is what he's so good at doing.
Exactly. So pretty much up to this point, what do you think of this episode? The whole idea of Dooku and Grievous getting their revenge on Ventress and Mother Towson.
Okay, when it comes to Mother Towson, first of all, I'd like to know whose side she's on. Because she helps Savage, and then she turns around and helps Ventress, who at this point are on opposite sides, so that always confused me. But no, the episode, up until this point, I do like the fact that you have Ventress and Grievous against each other. That was really cool to watch. But I still like to know whose side Mother Townsend she thinks, or whose side she thinks she's on.
I think she's only on her own side. That she only cares for the continuation of the Night Sisters. Now, granted, she'll and I think as far as her magic goes and who she works with, basically whoever gets to her first, she really doesn't care.
Okay.
Anything you want to add to that, Alice?
I think like she's on like that's basically like her side, but mostly like Mother tells them she's like the mother. So I feel like even if you have 2 children that like do different things and are at each other's throat, you still want to help them out. So I think it's just the fact that, like you said, like she wants to continue the legacy. Because if she doesn't help them out, then they're all gonna just disappear, and her lineage is gone forever.
Right. So Mother Towson, this whole time while the battle is going on, has been doing the Star Wars equivalent of voodoo magic on Dooku. She had kept in a little safe a small piece of Dooku's hair. So she draws up her witch's brew, throws Dooku's hair into it, and basically creates a voodoo doll of Dooku and starts doing random things to it that basically bring lots and lots and lots of pain to Dooku halfway across the galaxy in Sereno. Like, boils start to erupt out all over his face. He's convulsing, having to pretty much doubled over in pain. And he knows exactly what it is. He knows that Mother Towson is doing this to him. In fact, at one point, Mother Towson, through the physical pain that she's causing, basically contacts him and says, listen, call off your army and leave us alone, and I'll stop this. But Dooku, he's not willing to stop. So he gets in contact with Grievous and said, listen, forget Ventress, kill Mother Towson so before she kills me. So that's exactly what Grievous does. He storms into the inner sanctum where Mother Towson and Old Daka are, Old Daka is killed, which ends the spell of bringing back the Night Sister zombies, so that battle's lost. But before they can kill Mother Towson, she vanishes, into her normal cloud of smoke. And for all intents and purposes, Ventress and Mother Towson are the two only survivors of the Night Sisters of this battle until Jedi Fallen Order. But anyways, though, Ventress really doesn't know, though, that, at least I don't think she knew, that Mother Towson survived, because she only saw like a faint wispy apparition of her talking to her. She didn't see her in the flesh like Savage and Maul later would. So why do you think Mother Towson chose... Actually, no, stupid question. I know why she didn't do that. It was to protect herself. Because if both Night Sisters are together, that's an easy target. But that pretty much is the end of the episode. So overall, what do you guys think of this episode?
It makes you think twice about the droids, because I never took them seriously until this episode, like at all.
Yeah.
Especially, in battle against the Jedi, it's like, yeah, they're stupid, they can't shoot, they're fragile, blah blah blah. But in this, it makes you think twice about them, or it made me think twice anyway. So I think that was probably the biggest. That, and seeing the showdown between Grievous and Ventress, those two things were probably the biggest for me in this episode.
Yeah, like I said earlier before you got on here, we sort of think of the droids these days, like you just mentioned, we think of them as these stupid little buckets of bolts that are pretty much there for comedic relief, at least in this show, that the clones and the Jedi can easily mow through. But only the clones and the Jedi could easily mow through them. You put them up against anyone else, let me say this. If you put the battle droids up against, say, the Rebels, I don't know I could see a case where both would win, but I don't think the droid army would lose every single time.
Well, the only reason I guess they've lost so much against the clones and the Jedi was because the clones and the Jedi were specifically trained to fight against them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite end of the scale, you have the Night Sisters and their primitive weapons that, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Alice, what about you?
Well, I feel like this really adds to like Ventress and her story. The fact that like because of this happened, she could in the next episode she could relate to the the kidnapper. Because she's like more like human. Like I know obviously she's not human, but as in like she can relate to other people, or she realizes
she has a conscience.
Yeah, or she can maybe realize that, hey, she's done this to like other people, or maybe like that.
Right. You're exactly right. I certainly liked this episode too. And I think it was a necessary episode too, because it also gives a good excuse for why do we never hear of the Night Sisters again. Because obviously they weren't around in the original trilogy. Like imagine if the Empire had somehow contacted the Night Sisters during the original trilogy, and they had something to do with pretty much any battle that happened in the original trilogy. That could have gone very differently for the Rebels. But anyways, let's move on now to the next episode, which is called Bounty. And that picks up immediately after the last one ends. And we see Ventress land on Tatooine. And she heads right into the Mos Eisley cantina. And she sits down for a drink. And there's this one bounty hunter that's trying to hit on her and trying a bit too hard. And he's rewarded for his efforts by a lightsaber through the chest. And this catches the attention of another bounty hunter sitting across the bar that wants to have a word with Ventress. Funny enough, this bounty hunter's name is Bosk. And Ian, I know you have a particular hatred for this character.
I do. Yes, I do.
You and anyone else that plays Battlefront 2.
Yes.
There's certain characters that you just do not like when you see them in a heroes versus villain match in Battlefront 2. He's one. Lando is another.
Lando, Han, Leia, Phasma, Iden, all of the blasters.
Any ball character.
Yes.
Do you play
Soccer ball with a head?
Do you play Battlefront 2, Alice?
No, I never have. I do know what it is, but I never played it before.
Okay.
Fallen Order is like my first like PC game that I ever got, because I just got a computer like last year. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. If your computer can run Jedi Fallen Order, it can certainly run Battlefront 2. And me and my friend Ian, we play it together online quite a bit. And if you ever do get it, you'd be welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Bosk has a business proposition for Ventress that he and another bounty hunter, I forget what her name is.
Latsrazi? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Lats, that's what it is. Thank
Yeah.
you. That Bosk and Lats are part of a team that are going to be doing a job on another planet, and Ventress just killed one of their teammates. So Bosk says, listen, you're going to take his place or we turn you into the authorities. And Ventress is like, okay, I'll do it. So they take Ventress to meet their boss, and who's their boss but Boba Fett? So Boba Fett and the rest of the team, which consists of him, Ventress, Bosk, Lots, Dengar, and a droid by the name of Highsinger, they go to this planet where they cannot land on the planet because the planet's atmosphere is so pressurized. They have to land at a space station attached to the planet above with a very long elevator shaft going down. And what they're there to do is escort a certain piece of cargo inside a chest on this underground train, and they have to protect it from these, I'm going to call
Ninjas, like high-tech ninjas,
that's
essentially.
That's essentially what they are. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
they look so much like Mortal Kombat ninjas. It's not even funny. But anyways, though, and they're also told, no matter what, do not open this box. So they get down to where the train is, and they set out. By the way, hello to the Nerdporial Lifeform, who says, hi there, I loved this arc. Fall of Dathomir was great. Favorite of Season 4, along with Umbara and Pong Krell. Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, Nerdporial, if you're not doing anything right now, I'm gonna send you the link on Twitter, and you are welcome to join us. Let me get you pulled up here.
Yes, I am. In case you didn't know. Nerdporial, yes, I am.
I can confirm. I know him in real life. He is headless. But anyways, though, the train ride starts, and almost immediately the ninja guys start attacking. And pretty much throughout the whole job, all the different bounty hunters that aren't named Ventress and Boba start getting eliminated off the train. Not killed, thrown off the train, pretty much one at a time. Starts with Dengar, then Bosk, then Lots and Highsinger, until it's just Boba and Ventress left. However, during a scuffle with Boba and the leader of the ninjas, the chest gets open, and who's inside the chest but a girl who happens to be the sister of the ninja leader. And it's here that Ventress starts to grow a bit of a conscience when she's listening to the girl's story, and basically the girl hits her with, "You wouldn't know what it's like to be ripped away from your family," when that's exactly what Ventress's whole life is like. So yeah, pretty much that leads to something. Well, it doesn't directly lead to it, but I would believe it plays a part in the confrontation that Ventress ultimately has
Usually the
with
mind.
Boba Fett. Yeah. Where the two of them basically have an argument about who gets what pay, and Ventress is like, "Listen, there's only two of us left. I want half." And Boba's like, "No, you're getting your agreed upon share," and so on and so forth. They have a bit of a fight. Ventress wins, and they get to their destination, and the emperor of the planet is basically there for that little girl to be his bride. He opens the chest, and who's inside the chest but Boba Fett? And sadly, this will not be the last time that someone weird falls in love with Boba Fett. Those sand people. I gotta play it. Where is it?
Like a panther. Yes.
So anyways, Ventress makes it back to where the rest of the bounty hunters are. She has the cash in hand. She's already subtracted her share. And this is where she really starts to turn away from who she was before, where Lots asks her, you make a really good part of the team, and she's like, "No, I'm not part of any team." And then Bosk thinks that, "Oh, you're better than us now," but she's like, "No, I have a future." And she's not saying that with any sort of hate or malice in her eyes. She's saying that with genuine hope. Now, I know, unfortunately, what she gets involved with next after this whole arc. Obviously, she's going to go and get involved in helping Obi-Wan against Darth Maul. But what she gets involved in after this, unfortunately, that's not such a good thing. But we'll get to that when we get to it. But anyways, though, what did you guys think of this episode?
It was cool to see Ventress do something good for once.
Yes.
Plus, Boba is really despicable in this episode because he's pretty much just a little brat. And it was cool to see him get what was coming to him, I thought.
Yes, it was. Hello, by the way, to Nerdporial Oppress. That's a new name. What's up? What's up, man?
You're muted.
I think he's still getting his camera situated.
Yeah.
If you can hear me, you look good.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize my camera was on the floor. It just kind of fell on the floor. I was like, why does it look like that? So.
Oh, it's all right. How you been, man? We ain't talked in forever.
Good. Yeah, I've been really busy with the streams that I've been doing for the shows that I've been following. So, sorry I haven't been able to make the Tuesday night treks.
Hey, it's all right, man.
So, but yeah, I figure, since I haven't been on for a while, you sent the offer, figure I'll come on. I haven't watched these in a while, but I remember watching these when these first aired. I was super into it. It was like between watching the prequels, playing the KOTOR games, playing new LucasArts games, and watching this series. Even though I know a lot of people don't like the series because of Dave Filoni and how Dave Filoni was undoing things that were already established in the EU.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this. I started watching this after my friend went and saw the Night Sister arc from season 3 in the theater, and then he showed them to me, and I watched them. I was like, oh, I have to check out this Clone Wars stuff because I saw the movie in theaters when it came out, but then I didn't pay attention to the seasons when they came out. So, but then I was watching these as they came out on Cartoon Network.
Mhm.
Okay.
I loved the episode with where Grievous, Dooku sends Grievous to Dathomir to take out Towson and Ventress and all of them. It was cool seeing Ventress fight Grievous.
It was.
And then of course Mother Towson uses like the Temple of Doom voodoo thing to get to make Dooku suffer. And he's like, you gotta help. He's like, you gotta help me, General. You gotta help me. She's gonna kill me.
Yep.
I thought that was great.
By the way, hello to Sci-Fi Nation. Thanks for joining. Do you remember much about the episode we just talked about where Ventress helps with the bounty?
The train one, right? They're on the train. It was a weird follow up. I'll be honest. Like these 4 episodes were like this is supposed to be the same arc, but the first 2 really follows Ventress, and then the third one follows Savage, and then the fourth one brings all of them together. Brings her, Savage, and Obi-Wan of all people together. But this one was good. I liked. I think they were supposed to be the bounty hunters were supposed to be protecting a package, and the package was actually a princess to be married off to some creepy old ruler or something of another kingdom for like an alliance. I don't remember the reason, but Ventress figures it out, and I remember she chokes Boba, young Boba Fett, and I think she rescues her or something. I forget.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her choking him. That was cool. I forgot about that.
They didn't want to kill off the bounty hunter, so what they did was they just knocked him off the train.
Exactly.
Just knocked him off the train.
Which they couldn't. Some of those they could have killed, but let's face it, you can't kill Boba, you can't kill Dengar, and you can't kill Boss because they have to appear in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
And with Dave Filoni, like with the bounty hunters and their dog, like I was surprised how tame like Maul and Savage were when they went to attack the Hutts in season 5. I was like, they would have killed that dog. They would have killed that dog, and they probably would have killed the bounty hunters.
Interesting.
But once again, this is Dave Filoni. I'm pretty critical. I'm pretty critical of Dave Filoni.
Okay.
So.
Real quick, Sci-Fi Nation says, I just discussed the Orville tonight on Potato Revan's channel, and Scotty R37 said, this was the S word, though, as far as channels go. Well, thank you to Scotty R37. Tell him we said thank you. Alice.
Yeah, we talked about the Orville a couple of nights ago.
So yeah, I'm still.
It's getting divisive. It's getting kind of divisive in terms of what they're talking about. So, like, if you go online, everyone's gonna say, "Oh, this is the greatest season ever," but because my channel's not an echo chamber, there were people who are more on the right side of politics. There were some things to be critical of. And
sorry. Black Dragon was saying this is the last time I listen to you or Matt. Okay.
Matt.
The Matt Cave? Is that who he's talking about?
I'll ask you about it later, Black Dragon. But anyways, though, Nerporio, what were you saying?
I don't even remember. What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about the Orville. I kind of cut in with the Orville, but yeah, the Orville is getting kind of divisive. Some stuff is kind of like the last episode. They pulled something that would come off as grooming with a character that I liked. It was, remember the female Mocklin, the one that was the writer, the one that was responsible for was one of the earliest ones to be independent. Well, she kind of pulled something with Bortus's daughter.
Oh.
And yeah, I kind of spoiled it. She gets reverted back to a girl in one of the episodes.
I see.
So
okay,
but there's a lot of other stuff. There was one about populism that I won't get into here.
All right,
Like
fair
they use
enough.
the Krill as to talk about populism, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
Alice, getting back onto the Clone Wars, what did you think of this episode?
Well, I like it because we saw like different planets and like different species that we never got to see, but we also got to see like characters that we know from Empire Strikes Back. In other words, but for me, when I saw it, all the movies in chronological, so for me, I didn't really like when I look at Boba Fett at that stage. I looked at more of like the Attack of the Clone Boba Fett and then like the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett.
So you saw them in chronological order, episodes 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, and then the original. I always wondered, like, if you youngsters would see it that way.
I had no idea what Star Wars was. I just got Disney Plus. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch Star Wars because I was really sick. I couldn't go to school.
Oh my
Oh, no.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is what Black Dragon was talking about. Tubi had rubber on it, so I watched it. That was the dumbest and most retarded S word I've ever seen. I lost IQ points watching it.
It's Matt K's favorite movie, right?
It's the one that he recommends to everyone.
I love Matt Cave. Matt Cave loves almost everything. Like he finds one thing I'm jealous of him is that he always finds something positive in stuff that I could not find positive. Like he even likes the remake to Psycho which is basically a shot by shot remake. And he still
Right.
liked it. I have nothing but respect. He finds enjoyment in everything, and maybe someday I'll achieve that.
Yes. Well, Black Dragon, I'm sorry for the loss of your IQ points. It's one of those movies where either you like it or you don't. Clearly you didn't, but thank you for at least
worse. I saw something worse not too long ago.
I will say this though, thank you for at least giving it a try. All right, so let's move on to the next episode, which is Brothers. And this one focuses heavily on Savage Opress. Now, when we last saw Savage Opress way back at the end of season 3, he had just returned to Mother Towson, told her what happened from his point of view with him and Ventress versus Dooku. And it's here that Mother Towson reveals through her little crystal ball that he has a brother. And we only see a really distorted image, but it's clearly someone Dathomirian with red and black skin and with horns, but there's no way it could be Darth Maul because he's dead. But anyways, though, Savage Opress is pretty much looking throughout the galaxy for his brother. And there's like a disturbance in the Force that just about everyone can feel. Dooku feels it in his palace. Anakin and Ahsoka, especially Anakin, feels it after making it to a diner where Savage Opress had just been, causing a disturbance. Meanwhile, Savage Opress manages to hijack a big junk freighter and coerces its pilot to take it back to where it had gotten that junk from, the planet Lotho Minor. So it goes there, and by the way, again, he was given a necklace when we last seen him as basically a tracker to basically tell him when he's getting closer to his brother. It'll glow blue. So the closer he gets to this planet, the more it glows blue. So as soon as he gets to the planet, he ditches the pilot and just takes the ship himself. And he lands, and he starts searching for something, but at first it seems like he's come to a dead end because the necklace isn't glowing anymore. He's never been to this planet. He doesn't know what to do. Along comes a little snake thing named Morley, I believe it is. Which, by the way, Morley also makes wah pedals, and Ian got me one for my birthday. I need to get that thing out and start using it again.
Yes, you do.
Did the snake remind you of the snake from Jungle Book?
Yeah.
Yes.
very
see that.
very conniving and everything. Talks, you know.
Almost like a Gollum type character.
Yeah.
So this snake character agrees to be Savage's guide through the planet to basically lead him to where, quote, things alive and breathing can be found on this planet. So they go through the very hazardous terrain of this junk planet, avoiding these giant colossus type things called the fire breathers that are basically the literal metal dragons that just eat the junk. They get into a small skirmish with some of the locals that are just simply called the Junkers. And eventually they have to seek shelter from acid rain. But they come to, again, another dead end. And this is where Savage Press unfortunately starts to lose faith that he's going to find his brother, and right then is when Morley betrays him and opens a trap door and sends him falling down. So up to this point so far in the episode, what do you guys all think?
I thought it was pretty. I was like, oh, when are we going to see Maul? When are we going to see Maul? When are we going to see Maul?
Yeah.
We're not gonna see Maul. He's dead.
Yeah, that's. I mean, how did you find out? Like, did you know? Like before seeing this, did you know that they were going to bring Maul back? Like he was brought back in a comic a while ago.
Oh my goodness. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I don't even remember how I found out that they were going to do this. I knew that there was a story that had Maul coming back because, okay, so let's drop the joking. Yes, Maul does come back in this episode. I knew that there was a story in Legends that showed that Maul, with those same legs that he has in this episode, in the next episode rather, he does come back with those same longer horns that he has in this episode too, and he has that final confrontation with Obi-Wan on Tatooine, except this time Lars kills him.
Yeah.
And I want to go and find that story.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to see, one thing I was disappointed with, I wanted to see them reenact the fight on Naboo. And I wanted to see it from Maul's perspective, him falling and how he survived, how he got off Naboo. That's what I wanted to see, because we didn't see that. We just hear, we're told, we're just told that he used his hatred to keep himself alive. Like, I want to see how he did that. I want to see how he survived. Did he grab onto something? Did he crawl into a little tube? How did he get off Naboo? That's what I wanted to see, and we didn't see that. So that was kind of disappointing.
Understandable.
But one thing I'll give the show is that, you know, I feel coming up, like Sam Witwer does some really great. He gives Maul a lot of depth.
He does
more than. I mean, we love Ray Park. Ray Park's awesome individual, and of course, his movements as Darth Maul are second to none in Phantom Menace. But Sam Witwer he just nails it. Like every performance he does as Maul was excellent. Yes. Even in Rebels, especially in Rebels.
Alice, Ian, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was still waiting for Maul. I was like, okay, come on, get past the filler. Let's go. Where's Maul?
Okay. Alice?
For me, this was like the weirdest thing ever, because when I watched Star Wars, I had no idea anything about this. I was like, what is this? And, like the snake, I was like, what is like this? It was just so weird. And when I saw Maul, I was like, I feel sorry for you, but not really, because when I saw that safely like going, I was like, Sam Witwer is a great actor.
Yes, he is. And by the way, Sci-Fi Nation, I saw this earlier. Ha 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 ha. Very funny. Isn't there more of lore coming up in the next generation, by the way? Because we're about to get into.
You got past 5. Brothers. You guys got past Brothers, right?
Yeah, the one that has Noonien Sung in it.
Yeah, he does. He has one more appearance.
Okay, yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't. I'll be honest. I'm surprised he didn't have more appearance throughout TNG because you don't need to find a voice. You don't need to find another actor. You just need Brent Spiner to play himself. That's all. That's all lore is. Just a maniacal Brent Spiner.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of TNG, if you want to join us this coming week, we're going to be talking about Redemption.
Okay, I mean, I can make time to rewatch Redemption. So
okay.
Yeah, I'll see. I usually don't do anything on Tuesday. Usually it's my day off because Monday's Better Call Saul and Wednesday is Orville.
I gotcha.
But I think I can make. I do like Redemption a lot, so I could probably join for that.
All right, yeah, it's going to be Redemption, Darmok, and Ensign Rowe. So just 4. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, Savage goes through these tunnels with only his lightsaber to light the way. And by the way, I will say it again. Savage Opress has my favorite lightsaber design of all time. In fact, I'm gonna bring it up here, a picture of it again. The reason I say it's my favorite is because naturally I like double-bladed lightsabers more than single-bladed, even though I suck at using double-bladed lightsabers. But also at the same time, I mean, just look at it. That is beautiful. And I also like that it hums at a lower pitch than other lightsabers, like almost like it's growling. And by the way, they do make replicas of this lightsaber that you can buy. Good luck getting them, though, because they are pricey.
I never noticed that it had a lower pitch.
Yeah. Like, I wish there was a way I could demonstrate it. Unfortunately, I do not have that capability right now. But yeah, go back and listen. It hums at a lower frequency.
So what makes it unique? Is it those little fingers that are sticking out from each end of the lightsaber?
Yeah,
that makes it unique from all the others.
Like almost if you mixed Darth Maul's lightsaber with Count Dooku's lightsaber, and Count Dooku has another one of those little hook things.
He has the curve. Now the only thing I know about Count Dooku's is that his curves down, so like.
Hang on a second, I'll get my Dooku saber.
So headless guitars. What do you like to play on that guitar?
I'm a big metal fan. I like to play a lot of metal, power metal, that kind of thing. Judas Priest. I'm into that stuff.
What about Master of Puppets, since it trended because of Stranger Things?
Oh,
careful, copyrighted music. I don't care. But anyway,
that last final episode was awesome. And when he played the Master of Puppets, it felt very. It had a very Lord of the Rings moment. It had a Boromir type of moment. I won't say anymore.
Yes. But anyways, though, here is Dooku's lightsaber. Obviously, it's curved. But the hooks is basically this part that I was talking about, because Savage Opress has something similar to this.
What does that? What does that do? Does that have a function, or is that just
really,
for decoration?
I think it's just for decoration, because obviously he holds it in more of a fencing style.
Yeah.
But this particular part, I believe it's just decorative. So anyways, back to the story, though. Like I said, Savage Opress's lightsaber, it's my favorite lightsaber. But he is walking down this tunnel, and he's not alone down there. There's this giant spider-looking thing down there with him, avoiding him. And suddenly, Savage spots it and chases after it, thinking that it's the monster that had taken his brother. But then suddenly this spider thing jumps him, and there's this big struggle between the two. But at one point, they're like pushing against each other, and suddenly Savage Opress's necklace starts to glow, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's actually Darth Maul." And this is a very, very, very different Darth Maul than when we had last seen him in episode 1. Now, before we go any further, we got to get this out of the way right off the bat. Time for a debate. You just said, Nerdtorial, that Sam Witwer, of course, did an amazing job with what he did with Darth Maul, added another layer to the character. But let's have this debate right now. Should they have brought Darth Maul back like this? Or should Darth Maul have just stayed dead?
Honestly, I know a lot of people that were critical of the prequels felt that he should have stayed dead. Honestly, I felt his character was done a disservice by killing. I thought, honestly, when I first saw Episode 1 in the theaters, I thought he was going to be like Vader, where he was gonna be in all three movies. So I was surprised. When he got killed. Right, he got offed right away by Obi-Wan after he killed Qui-Gon. Because I thought after Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan would try to fight him and would fail, and then when Obi-Wan was holding on, that's when Maul would have left. Maul would have left him to die, and that's what I thought was going to happen. But no, Maul just stayed there, and then Obi-Wan just cut him in half, and kind of seemed kind of anticlimactic when you think about it.
Right.
Very. Maul should have lasted far longer, I think.
Yeah. I felt like it wasn't a worthy demise for Maul. So bringing him back, kind of like his death in Rebels is so, like, even though it's a very Kurosawa inspired duel, but it's so meaningful. It's such a great end for that character. And
there you go, Phil.
I don't even. Once 9 came out, I got confused about what Snoke is. I don't even know what he is. Is he Palpatine? Is he not? What the hell?
Well, according to Phil McCracken, he's Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, I can see that. It takes a certain amount of evil to create a show like Picard.
That is true. Ian, yes or no? Should Darth Maul have come back or stayed dead?
Absolutely should have come back.
Okay.
Should never have died in the first place. So yeah.
And here, you guys in the comments in the chat, give your opinion. Should Darth Maul have come back like he did, or should he stay dead? Tell us. So why do you think he should have come back, Ian?
Okay, well, the way they brought him back, I'll admit, was a little bit of a stretch, because being cut in half is surviving being cut in half is more of a stretch than being stabbed in the stomach, like
we don't talk about that.
But you have to admit, it's a little bit more of a stretch than what happened in Kenobi twice.
You're right.
It is
100% right.
So I'll admit that is a stretch, but for Maul, I'll make an exception, because George Lucas realized the mistake he made. I think he realized the mistake he made by killing Maul off too soon. So he realized, the fans wanted to see more of him. He was a cool character. He was very well created and very well written, I think, in Phantom Menace. And like you said, the voice actor for Maul did such a good job in Clone Wars and Rebels. So I think it would have been criminal not to bring him back. So be quiet, Leia. Nobody wants to hear your opinion.
Kidding, of course. But yeah, she says she thinks Maul should have stayed dead. So tell us why, Leia. I'm curious. And while she does that, Alice, what about you? Should they have brought Darth Maul back, or should he have stayed dead?
For me, I'm glad he came back, mostly because of Rebels. I really love Rebels, and that amount of like Maul, like that arc, like the whole Rebels, like affected Ezra, affected Ahsoka, like the whole thing, like made me. Yeah, I'm glad he came back.
The episodes with Maul and Ahsoka were awesome.
I'm looking forward to getting into those.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like Phil McCracken said Maul should have stayed dead in Disney Star. Well, hold on, Phil. Hold on. This happened before Disney.
Yeah.
Maul got brought back before Disney.
Yep.
So you can't
Clone
blame
Wars
Disney Star
was
Wars
before
on this
Disney.
one.
But yeah, he's right though. In Disney Star Wars, no one dies, or at
Yeah.
least like unless they're a character that you love, like Han Solo or Luke Skywalker.
Or
Then they
Wade.
die because they were
Or
created by
Wade.
Lucas. But anything
Yeah.
that Filoni creates, he does not like. Honestly, Ahsoka should have died in Rebels. Her being alive and like Gandalf just doesn't make sense to me. And being alive during the original trilogy is, I felt Rebels was the best place to end her character. But like we said, like I just said, Filoni
Yeah.
doesn't like to kill off characters. Characters don't stay dead. I mean, I'm gonna bring up that show that nobody wants to, that shamelessly copied Rebels.
Mhm.
Especially, Vader's mask and all that.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Leia Rose, by the way, has an answer. She says, because a character like Maul should have been written better. Lucas made a mistake and brought him back.
You're not wrong either. I agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, Maul should have survived. I mean, I love Christopher Lee. I think Christopher Lee could have done a different type of role, but I think Maul should have stayed in, had more dialogue, gave Ray Park some dialogue, or have a voice actor dub him.
Yeah.
And he should have been in all 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, Dooku was really only in episode 2. In episode 3,
He's there and he's gone.
yeah, he's there. He's gone. Awesome death, though, but still.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm doing a rewrite of all Star Wars episodes. And in my first original trilogy, or not original, prequel trilogy era, Maul stays alive and is the main villain.
So will Anakin still be 9 years old?
No, absolutely not. Anakin will be a teenager.
So we're not going to hear yippee or
I will make
this
sure
is
we
the power.
hear
Or this
yippee.
is the power of pod racing.
Kid Anakin was another dumb decision that Lucas made.
Or squeeze me. Jar Jar
No.
Binks.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna have Jar Jar.
I give up. I give up. I give up. You thought he was going to do something heroic, and then he's just like, I give up. I give up.
Yeah.
I give up. It was so stupid.
So,
That's why people
okay.
hate that character.
So basically, it sounds like all of us on the panel agree that yes, bringing back Maul was a good thing. Now, to play devil's advocate, I can see where a case could be made that because they brought back Darth Maul and pretty much got away with it, that's why in current Disney Star Wars, no one stays dead. But I think that's just that's an opinion that people are going to think of differently. So with that, let's continue on. So this Maul is very different than what we had seen in episode 1. Not only is he missing his natural lower half, which now his lower half is this really crudely made spider body, but more importantly than that, he is messed up, like so badly messed up in the head. He is barely coherent. He can barely say like 1 or 2 words at a time. And when he does talk, he's just reciting random parts of the Sith code. He repeats the part about the chains being the easy part. It's what goes on in here that's hard. And in comes the Snake character, thinking that Maul by now would have killed Savage Opress. And he's surprised, of course, oh, you're still alive. And so Savage picks him up by the throat, chokes him out, and sends him onto the fire, only for him to be reincarnated as Ian Snake, that he's got in this tank right there.
That wouldn't happen in Disney Star Wars.
No, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't. But basically, this whole time, Savage is trying to get anything that he can out of Maul that sort of alludes to his old life. And the closest thing that he has is, I must have revenge. And before the episode finishes, the episode cuts to the Jedi Temple, and it's just Yoda and Obi-Wan. And Yoda says, listen, there has been a big disturbance in the Force, and I sense that Darth Maul has come back. And of course, Obi-Wan can't believe it. He's like, how? I killed him myself. And Yoda's like, I don't know, but somehow Darth Maul returned. And that is how the episode ends. So
Setting up the next one.
So this episode, what did you guys think?
I felt kind of. I mean, it was cool to. What's funny was I didn't notice my brother and my friend who I watched this with actually mentioned to me that he was spouting the Sith code, and the only reason why I know the Sith code exists is because I played KOTOR. I think it was KOTOR 2 or it was a KOTOR 1. Either or. I didn't even realize that he was spouting off. I didn't understand what Maul was saying, so it was interesting. It was cool that they incorporated the Sith code into it. But it was just, this was a setup. I mean, to me, this felt like an episode that was setting up the next one. The next episode's great.
Yes, it is. I liked it because we get to see Maul come back. I don't know. Don't necessarily know that I like the fact that they brought him back as kind of messed up in the head. I have mixed feelings about that.
You're like, is it because he was isolated or the pain of his injury? That I wonder what exactly caused or contributed to his not totally being there.
I think I would have liked to see him come back as somebody who's been like scheming and brooding and planning, who still has all his mental faculties. He's put himself together a crude, like from the waist down, legs kind of thing. And he's been scheming and plotting for a way to get off the planet and get back at Obi-Wan. But, I can't complain because he did come back. So
yeah, it sounds like they just wanted it was the easy path to just have him be insane instead of trying to figure out what he's been doing for how long has it been? 10 years since Phantom Menace, or no, not 10 years. I think it was 11 or 12 years,
something like that.
So yeah, this. I mean, it takes a lot more thought to have something like that, but that would be more. It would be. I agree with you, Mr. Headless Guitarist.
Oh, you can call me Ian. Call me Ian if you want to.
Ian?
That's my name. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better. It
would take more work from the writers to craft and put together.
Yeah, it would, but it would have been better.
Yeah. I mean, the harder that's the problem with a lot of entertainment now, is that a lot of writers are taking shortcuts. They're cutting. They're cutting corners to save money, to be able to, balance the budget between all the phases of work that has to be done to create these episodes. And it just they just won't put, like, Hollywood just won't put the work in. And that's why we get mediocre. That's why, like, all the Star Wars stuff and the Marvel stuff, in my opinion, is mediocre content. They do like a single draft. They cut corners and then they shove it out for like, I mean, Kenobi is a great example of that.
If it's not that, it's some sort of political agenda or both.
Yeah, and I mean, the political agenda comes with, in my opinion, comes mainly with the marketing. When they do that in the marketing, it's a massive red flag that their product is no good.
Rings of power.
They're trying to guilt people into watching it or manipulate people into watching it.
Yeah.
Doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, but getting back to this episode, though, this was a good setup episode for what's to come next. Alice, anything you want to add to any of that?
I was just like hearing him like just say Kenobi. I was like the next episode I knew was gonna be good. And also I like at the end when we see Master Yoda and Master Obi-Wan like talking, it reminded me of like Clone Wars Volume 1, like at the end when Yoda was like looking out the window and talking. I'm not sure if you remind me of that moment.
Yeah. All right, so that leads into the last episode we're going to be talking about tonight, called Revenge. And this picks up with Savage bringing Maul back to Dathomir. Now, Savage does not know what just happened on Dathomir. So he gets there and he's like, "Oh my god, what are all these droids doing here, and why is everyone dead?" So he looks around at everything that had just happened while a still insane Maul stays on the ship. And it's also, by the way, shown that even though Maul is still insane, he's still capable of using the Force, because he uses the Force to close in some boxes around him, almost as if he's shutting himself off from the world.
Mm-hmm.
So Savage reunites with Mother Towson, who tells Savage pretty much, "We were attacked by Dooku and Grievous while you were gone, and no one survived." So they bring Maul off the ship by basically Mother Towson jangling her keys in front of him by way of creating a green ball of magic. It's literally like a cat with a laser pointer. But as soon as they basically get him to the operating table, Mother Towson puts him to sleep, throws aside his old crude spider legs, and then starts using her magic to go into Darth Maul's mind and pull the insanity out, which sort of personifies itself as this black sludge out of his head.
Toxicity.
Yes. And then she begins to make her magic course all over him, and not just restore his physical condition and his mental condition, but give him two mechanical legs that almost look animal, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
And thus Darth Maul, as we know him, is completely reborn. And Darth Maul recognizes Savage. At first he doesn't, but then he recognizes Savage as his brother, and sort of listens to Savage tell him what had been going on with the Clone Wars while he was out of it. And Darth Maul realizes, "I kept myself alive through my hatred, and I was once apprentice to the most powerful Sith in the galaxy, and I was going to become something amazing, but Obi-Wan Kenobi took that from me." And so that's his statement of intent right there. "I'm going to kill Obi-Wan." And so what does he do? He goes to the planet Raydonia, and they just completely start killing innocent people there to get the Jedi's attention. And it works. He sends a message to Obi-Wan directly. He has a line of citizens from this planet held hostage just lined up there. And he says, "You listen to me, Obi-Wan. I've been waiting for you. I want you to come to this planet and face me, and come alone, or else this world will burn." And right then he executes the hostages. And so Obi-Wan's hand is pretty much forced. He tells the council, "I have to go, and I have to go alone." And even though Mace Windu doesn't like it, Yoda's like, "Okay, go, but be careful." And later, Mace Windu and Yoda are talking together, and Yoda's like, "Obi-Wan's not going to be alone. He's going to find help from an unlikely ally." Across the galaxy, on Tatooine, back at the cantina, different people are looking through the available bounties, and they see that Savage Opress is listed as a bounty. And so Ventress, who now is pretty much officially a bounty hunter, decides to take that bounty, because she has some personal history there. So Obi-Wan arrives on Raydonia to find a town absolutely burning. And eventually he comes face to face once again with Darth Maul. And Darth Maul says, I've waited so long for this, and here you are. And Obi-Wan's like, it is you. And I'm not worried about you. I've beat you once. I can beat you before. I can beat you again. But suddenly, Obi-Wan's jumped from behind by Savage Opress. And being that Savage Opress is this just huge hulk of a man, he pretty much easily beats Obi-Wan down. And then the two brothers just take turns throwing haymakers at him. And they knock Obi-Wan out and take him back to their ship. But right as they take off, Ventress, unbeknownst to them, stows away aboard the ship. But on the ship, in sort of the cargo bay area, Maul and Savage are still taking turns just leathering every bit of Obi-Wan's hide as much as they can. And of course, Obi-Wan does get some fun quips in there, like, you know, when I cut you in half, I should have gone for your neck. Eventually, though, Obi-Wan is in the clutches of Darth Maul. He has him by the throat. And he holds up his lightsaber to him. He says, I'm going to make sure you're alive to feel every cut. You're going to suffer as I did. And right then, Ventress reveals herself and starts throwing her voice to draw off Darth Maul and Savage, only for her to then go back and revive Obi-Wan. Now, Darth Maul has Obi-Wan's lightsaber, and there's about to be a fight between Obi-Wan and Ventress and Maul and Savage. So what does Ventress do but give Obi-Wan one of her red lightsabers? And I like the exchange they have here where she's like, I want that back. And then Obi-Wan's like, that's fine. Red's not my color. And so finally we get the rematch. I'm gonna use this particular phrase on purpose. We get the rematch of the century between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. And, of course, Ventress and Savage Opress, they're fighting too. But that's not what we care about. We care about Obi-Wan versus Maul. At some point, Obi-Wan gets his lightsaber back, gives the red lightsaber back to Ventress because she lost hers. And Obi-Wan and Maul are going at it even harder than when they did in Episode 1. And for the first time in a long time, by the way, we see a side of Obi-Wan we hadn't seen. Because usually throughout this show, he's the one, even in the middle of battle, where he's aggressive in battle, but it's a tempered aggression, a focused aggression. But here, Obi-Wan is outright enraged when they're locked together in saber combat, and Darth Maul's like, I killed your master. How'd that make you feel, Obi-Wan? And just Obi-Wan absolutely unleashes on him, but unfortunately he gets knocked back, and Darth Maul taunts him saying, you gave into your anger. That's not the Jedi way, is it? And that's when both Ventress and Obi-Wan realize they've been beaten and they have to escape. So, what did you guys think of that fight?
It was vicious. It was, like you said, it was very vicious. And I'll be honest, like I measure that fight with future fights. So seeing, I mean, I don't know if you probably might not agree with me, but I initially, when I saw season 7 of the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka fights Maul, I was under the impression she tricks him into she lures him into a trap, and that's how she wins. But in the case of what we actually see on screen, it was more like she managed to beat him because he felt Anakin or something. It just didn't make sense, because in this episode he outclasses Obi-Wan. So how is Ahsoka, who is nowhere near as trained as Obi-Wan or as skilled as Obi-Wan, beats Maul like that? I felt it was kind of off.
Yeah,
They say in the episodes because of his feelings about Anakin, because he senses Anakin, he wanted Anakin to come instead of Ahsoka to Mandalore to keep Sidious from turning him and stuff. So I don't know. It's something that I complain about. So
Yeah,
I love this. This was great. Like I was like, they're not going to kill Maul off, are they? They're not going to kill Maul off like this. And I was happy they didn't.
This was the Maul and Obi-Wan fight I think we should have had in episode 1.
I
Yeah.
agree.
This level of viciousness and like brutality is what we should have gotten.
And when I say viciousness and brutality, I mean the emotion, not necessarily with the fighting. Because in episode 1, the fighting was impressive. If I was to redo specifically the Obi-Wan versus Maul segment of episode 1, keep the action exactly as it is, but have Obi-Wan be visibly angrier than what he was.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
again, go to episode 6 when Vader says, "If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will." That set Luke absolutely on fire to the point that he completely threw out all notions of forms and fighting styles, and he's just fighting with raw aggression. To a certain degree, that should have been Obi-Wan versus Maul in episode 1 immediately after Qui-Gon dies.
Right. Obi-Wan
much like
ticked
what we
off.
got in this episode.
Right. Have Obi-Wan ticked off that Maul just killed Qui-Gon, and have Qui-Gon or have Maul kind of taunting that he did what he just did. So yeah, I think that's what we should have gotten.
Right.
But,
Alice?
yeah, it was great.
What I noticed is during the fight between like Maul and Obi-Wan, like every time a character that's in the light side uses like the dark side, not like for the first time, like, uses it when they're not really knowledgeable of it. Like you see like sparks like flying everywhere. Like even in like Anakin versus Obi-Wan, and the cordial spikes like flew everywhere. Like with Luke, that's like the one parallel I saw.
That I never noticed that. Thank you for. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, I'm gonna say this too. This fight, as well as the fight that we get in season 5, episode 1, which I can't wait to talk about that fight. This fight with that one is a big reason why I absolutely hated their fight in Rebels when it first came out. Now, I get it. By that point, they were both old men. But Yoda and Dooku were old men, and you saw how they moved in episode 2. So that's no excuse.
Heck, Yoda and Palpatine were old.
Thing.
Yeah.
So age is no excuse here. But I get it from a symbolism standpoint why they did what they did in Rebels. But there is still that part of me that's like, come on, you could have topped yourself here, and you didn't.
Exactly.
But we'll talk about that whenever we talk about Rebels and we talk about that particular scene.
Yeah, I like that. I actually like that fight. It was very, like I said, it was very Kurosawa type of fight. Like usually sword fights are really quick, and then usually someone's gone. So, but I loved how I just loved how like Maul tried to use the same trick he did, hitting Qui-Gon with the with his saber, and then doing the skewer. Whereas Obi-Wan, learned from that and was able to dodge it.
Exactly. So anyways, though, Ventress and Obi-Wan both realize that they're outmatched. So they both make a mad dash for the escape pod, and they manage to get out and leave Maul and Savage on the rest of the ship, where basically they say, okay, we can be patient. I've waited this long for my revenge. I can wait a little bit longer. And Maul is like, but the Jedi, they'll be coming for us. And he's like, I'm counting on it. And that's where it ends. So I have two questions. not only what did you guys think of this episode, but what did you think of this episode as the finale of season 4?
I'm excited for season 5. That's how I felt when I saw it.
Me too.
I wanted more.
Oh,
Mhm.
me too.
I was like, and the only thing I was hoping was that the next season, they wouldn't shove Maul at the very end. But here's the thing: in season 5, when it first aired, the first Maul episode was the first episode aired, but then the rest of them were aired last.
Mm-hmm.
So that episode where where Obi-Wan cuts off Savage's arm, that was aired first before everything else.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was. I thought it was such an awesome. It was an awesome finale. It probably
Yes,
even more. It was even way more awesome than the season 3 finale, which was Ahsoka on the Trandoshan slave island.
Yeah. I've said multiple times, by the way, I would have swapped places that arc with the Mortis arc. As big as the Mortis arc was, I think that should have been the closing arc of episode 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Alice, what did you think of this episode?
Well, for me, I really sorry, I really liked it. But I liked the part when like they're running away, and then like Obi-Wan was like, "Oh, I learned that from you." He was like, "I learned that from you," and that was really funny when they're like running away and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Ian?
me, like
Oh.
Also for me, I watched it. The Clone Wars all in chronological, and I also saw like last year. So for me, I didn't have to wait for like season 5 to come out and stuff.
Right. So you have a completely different perspective on it than all of us, because I really don't say this enough. I'm pretty much watching all of this for the first time. There's a handful of episodes I've seen before, and this is one of them. But there's a whole bunch of episodes that I've not seen. Like, for example, I've seen pretty much none of season 5 outside of the first episode. So yeah, pretty much after tonight and after that episode, we're in uncharted territory for me. So, Ian, what do you think of this episode?
I thought, like Nerdporio says, I thought it was a good finale. I say good. It was a great finale to the season, I think. Like he said, it makes you want more. It made me, when I was watching it, I usually watched, I think, 3 or 4 episodes a night at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to that episode, I was like, okay, I have to watch the first episode of season 5 before I go to bed tonight. I just had to. I there's no getting around it. So yeah, it was great. It was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, the Maul arc in season 5 ends on such an awesome fight. I won't say what it is if you haven't seen it.
I already know.
Okay, you do know.
I know.
All right. I was like, I watched. I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yes, it is. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and close it out for the night. Nerdporial, anything you want to shamelessly plug?
I mean, right now I'm just working on. I've been working on my Ocarina of Time retrospective. I'm still writing it. I'm still in the writing stage of it. So I'm still in. I'm still in the. I'm doing the entire plot, and I'm trying to cover as much ground as I can. So I'm still in the Shadow Temple. I'm approaching the boss right now, and I'm trying to write. I'm trying to write that out. So yeah, I'm almost done, and I have to proofread and probably add. I'm going to probably have to cut the fat because I almost included every room of every dungeon. Almost.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this: is writing a script for the Water Temple as nerve-wracking as it is to play it?
Yeah. Yes. Excuse me.
I am so sorry.
Like, it's just so. I mean, there was some uniqueness, but a lot of it was just. It was not easy to describe. I had to like get the Zelda Dungeon website up to like be able to explain to me like all the terminology, like the names of the monsters, the names of the traps that were being sprung, and everything. So, so I have one more temple left, and then the end, and then of course then my thoughts and conclusions and everything. So I'm already 26 pages in. This is going to be over 2 hours. This is probably going to be a 3-hour retrospective. Well,
Yeah.
depending on how much I cut out, how much fat I can manage to find and cut.
Yeah. I think once I finish playing through Stray, I'm going to start playing through Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's my bets. I've been working on this. I've been slacking. I should have gotten this done like at least a couple of weeks ago.
I understand.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Alice, obviously you have a channel. Anything coming up on there we need to know about?
Editing the Empire Strikes Back Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, so I done playing with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, I can't wait to see that. Ian, when are you going to answer that one comment on that one video asking for Theocracy and Mirror of Souls?
Dude, you. I thought I answered it.
You did. I'm just kidding.
Okay. No. Okay. I'm going to do a cover of a section of it. I'm going to try recording some vocals. Try singing for the first time. I record guitar all the time. I'm going to try recording my singing from a section of Mirror of Souls. So I'm going to break it out, turn it into karaoke, and see how well I can pull it off.
All right.
So I will be sending you that when I get it done. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, everyone watching this, make sure to subscribe to Alice83 Ashla, the Headless Guitarist, and the Nerdtorial Lifeform. Check out everything that they got going on over there. In the meantime, everyone, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will talk to you guys later.